Look, I could see many of you looking at the video title and going, what the heck? Why is this even a video? And to be honest, I wouldn't blame you. Why would tiebreaker answers seem interesting? Well, luckily for us, there have been so many hilarious and ridiculous tiebreaker answers throughout Big Brother history, and there's actually an explanation for it. Tiebreakers usually stem from quiz-style HOH comps, where 2 or more house guests will be tied for the lead after the final question, making a sudden death necessary. The tiebreaker question is usually a numerical estimation, and the player that comes closest to the answer without going over wins the competition. It's pretty much the Price is Right rules, however, there are 3 factors at play that lead to these tiebreakers being so much fun. 1. There is loads of pressure in the moment, as this is the difference between becoming HOH or being powerless for the week. 2. The type of math involved is usually not easy, especially if you're trying to quickly add things up. And 3. You usually only have like 15 seconds to come up with an answer. So when you combine those factors, you oftentimes get 2 or more very flustered house guests that aren't great at math trying to solve high-level addition or multiplication in 10 seconds, which obviously has a tendency to lead to some hilariously bad answers. It may seem like I'm dogging on these players throughout the video, but this is just intended to be some harmless fun, so keep that in mind. Consider subscribing if you aren't already. It only takes a moment to check, and without further ado, these are the 20 most ridiculous tiebreaker answers in Big Brother history.
It says 627.
Yep.
And Felicia, what does yours say?
49,500.
Kicking things off, the first hilarious tiebreaker comes from Big Brother 3. The week 4 HOH came down to Jerry and Eric, and the tiebreaker question asked, what was the combined height in inches of the first 3 evicted house guests? Jerry guessed 188 inches, and Eric guessed 268 inches. At first glance, it might not seem like anything is too crazy until you dissect Eric's answer and realize that his answer was the equivalent to Eric assuming that each evicted house guest was, on average, 7'5". Needless to say, Eric did not win this tiebreaker, and although it's pretty obvious that Eric did not think the evicted house guests were all giants, it's those types of goofy answers that make tiebreakers so much fun.
What is the combined height in inches of the 3 evicted house guests? Eric. The correct answer is 194 inches total. Jerry, congratulations.
But I just f***ed up, and that's really all there is to it.
Big Brother 4 had 3 tiebreakers throughout the season, and somehow all 3 of them were notable. The first one came in week 2 and had a crazy result where during the tiebreaker question, both G and Justin answered 700, which wildly forced a second tiebreaker. During this second tiebreaker, they were asked how old evicted house guest Amanda was in days. G answered 4,000, which is the equivalent of like 11 years old, and Justin answered 80,000, which is the equivalent of being 219 years old. As if that wasn't enough, because the show was running out of time, the producers didn't even give an exact answer and quickly just said she's 9,000 plus days old, G, you win. And overall, I just found this entire tiebreaker sequence to be hilariously ridiculous.
What was the combined total weight of all the standers in the Spuds food competition? Okay. Well, Justin and G both guessed 700. The correct answer is 757 pounds. Another tiebreaker we're gonna have to go to. In days, how old is Amanda? Write something down, otherwise you'll be disqualified. That says 80,000. Okay, the correct answer is 9,000 plus. G, you are the new head of household.
The next tiebreaker came at the final 4, where Erika and Robert were asked how many hours they had been in the house so far, and Erika answered 1,440, which ended up being a ridiculously impressive answer, as she was only 6 hours away from the correct answer of 1,434. But since she was 6 hours over, she lost the competition to Robert and ended up being evicted by the end of the week.
From the moment the exes walked into the house to right now, how many hours have you spent in the Big Brother house? The correct answer is 1,434 hours. Robert, congratulations. You are the new head of household. June, hand over the key to the HOH bedroom.
I went over. I was closer than Robert, but I went over. So
I lost.
The final tiebreaker came at the final 3, and it's probably the most famous tiebreaker of all time. June and Alison were asked how many days they had dated their exes, and it became clear that both wanted to throw the competition. Alison wrote down 0 days, but June saw her answer and successfully outthrew Alison by writing down 1 million. The still image of June and Alison sitting on the couch with their ridiculous answers is one of the best things to come out of Big Brother 4, and it was a fitting end to the competitions that season.
We asked Justin and G, how long in days did you and your ex date? Answers, please. Okay. Ju, obvious winner in this one is Alison. Congratulations. You are the final head of household.
Big Brother 5 has a noteworthy tiebreaker to talk about simply because I feel like it's a bit of an anomaly. Diane and Nakomis were asked how many pounds of M&Ms were used in a prior food competition, and somehow their 2 answers actually added up to the correct answer exactly. Diane answered 400, Nakomis answered 500, and the correct answer was 900. I can't imagine something like that will ever happen again, which is why I put it on the list.
How many pounds of M&Ms were used during the Admit One luxury movie competition? The correct answer is 900 pounds. Congratulations, Nakomis.
Big Brother 6 was promoted as the Summer of Secrets, but instead it should have been called the Summer of Tiebreakers because there were a ridiculous 7 tiebreakers with 10 total tiebreaker questions across the season. Not all 10 of the tiebreakers were crazy, of course, but some of them certainly were. The Week 7 tiebreaker famously saw Janelle write down 300, but then change her answer to 275, which gave her the win once the answer was revealed to be 286. Had Janelle not switched her answer, she would have lost the tiebreaker, and we would have been robbed of some all-time moments like, "Give me that key, bitch," and "Bye-bye, bitches."
How many light bulbs did it take to spell sold out in the luxury competition? Janelle, you're upside down. April.
sorry.
The correct number is 286 lights. Janelle, congratulations. You are the head of household. Jennifer, please hand over the key to the HOH bedroom.
Bye-bye, bitches.
The Week 10 tiebreaker was somewhat notable because A, it happened during a veto comp, which is very unusual, and B, it ended up being a triple tiebreaker, which has never happened before, nor has it happened since. However, it wasn't a traditional type of tiebreaker, which made it easy to be tied so many times.
We're going to play tiebreaker round. 19! 19! 19! Gosh, 3 times 19 is like a million.
The final 5 HOH tiebreaker had a pretty fire answer when Maggie answered 1, finally showing off the strategy of purposely guessing super low and hoping that their opponent guessed over the correct answer. However, Maggie wasn't actually trying to use that strategy, and she was just trying to throw it, leading to Ivette winning.
In the HOH competition, playing it straight, what was the total amount of points scored for all the house guests combined? Answers, please. The correct answer is 47. Congratulations, Ivette. You are the new head of household. And for the first time.
And finally, we get to the final HOH, which featured a double tiebreaker. The first tiebreaker asked Janelle and Ivette how many total votes there had been throughout the entire season, to which they somehow both answered 66. This forced a second tiebreaker where they were asked how many total hours had they spent in the house, and unbelievably, their answers were super close again. Ivette answered 1875 and Janelle answered 1900, with Ivette taking the win after the answer was revealed to be 1797. But wow, just the fact that both of their answers were so close both times is an anomaly and definitely worthy of being in this video.
What is the combined total of all votes cast to evict this season? You could face them towards me. We have a tie. You both said 66. All right, the answer is 74, just for the record. How many hours have you lived in the Big Brother house from the night you entered until 5 p.m. this evening? Janelle? The correct answer is 1,797. Congratulations, Ivette. You are the final head of household.
Okay, this next tiebreaker might actually be my favorite tiebreaker of all time, apart from the Big Brother 25 one. It was the final 8 HOH at Big Brother 7, and it came down to Chicken George and Danielle Reyes. The question was, how many minutes did the Big Brother house go without hot water this season? Danielle answered 308, and Chicken George answered 360. Nothing seems out of the ordinary, everything seems fine, up until Julie Chen reveals that the answer is over 6,000. The fact that both of them were over 5,000 off from the correct answer, yet were somehow almost within 50 of each other, is one of the craziest things I have ever seen in this game.
How many minutes total did the Big Brother 7 house go without hot water in the bathrooms? Need an answer. Congratulations, George, since it's over 6,000 minutes. You're the new head of household, Janelle. And George, the key to the HOH room.
I can't believe I won.
Congratulations, Georgie.
I don't even know how I won it.
Did I lose to Chicken George? George! Why? Why did Chicken Man beat me? Seriously? I did not throw that competition.
Big Brother 8 gave us one of the greatest trick question tiebreakers of all time, and the results could not have been better. The Week 2 HOH came down to Jen, Joe, Dustin, and Eric, and the question was, how many gallons of water does the spinning teacup in the backyard hold? Everyone put their well-thought-out answers down, but then Julie shocked the house guests by revealing that the answer was 9, since the opening of the teacup would make it hard to hold that much water, making Jen the HOH. The house guests were flabbergasted by the technicality, with Joe even giving his iconic confessional about how it practically made the stupidest house guest who guessed the lowest number the winner. It is such a good tiebreaker.
How many gallons of water does the spinning teacup in the backyard hold? Well, because of the entrance, the Big Brother teacup holds 9 gallons of water, which means congratulations, Jen. You are the new head of household.
What? There's a door on the teacup. What a brilliant technicality to bring into the mix to make the person who is the biggest idiot and guesses the lowest freaking number, because they're a moron and have no spatial perception, wins the HOH competition.
Big Brother 10 gave us a couple tiebreakers, but the one that was the most interesting was the double eviction HOH because it once again was a double tiebreaker. In the tiebreaker, both Keesha and Jerry put 100 down as their answers, which forced a second tiebreaker. In the second one, although there wasn't anything too crazy, I found it funny that both Jerry and Keesha were over 1,000 off of the correct answer.
When America gave you lollipops, how many total lollipops were displayed on the table after the food competition? Answers, please. Since you both answered 100, we're moving on, and it was 218 for the record. In the competition, one giant leap, if you add the winners' times from heats 1, 2, and 3, what would the total time be in seconds?
500.
The correct number is 1,556 seconds. Congratulations, Keesha. You're the new head of household.
Big Brother 11 gave us two noteworthy tiebreakers, and they're both because of Jordan. The first one came at the Final 4 HOH, where all three competitors went on to the tiebreaker round. The question was, how many total cans were in the players' tubes at the end of the Final 6 HOH? The maximum number of cans that there could have been in the players' tubes was 120, which made Jordan's guess of 224 quite comical.
In the HOH competition, Can Do, how many total cans did all 5 competing house guests have in their tubes at the end of the game? The correct answer is 91 cans, which means congratulations, Natalie. You're the new HOH.
We know that math wasn't Jordan's strong suit though, so I can cut her some slack. Actually, I take that back, because Jordan certainly shuts me up just 1 week later. Part 3 of the Final HOH came down to a tie between Jordan and Kevin, and the question was, how many total votes had there been throughout the entirety of the season? Jordan's facial expression gave away that she clearly had no idea what to put down, so she threw down the number 50. Well, It turns out that Jordan may have been a little bit smarter than she gave herself credit for, because this guess turned out to statistically be one of the best tiebreaker answers of all time, as the correct answer was 51, giving her the win and leading to her winning the whole game. What a wild guess, especially in comparison to her guess the prior week.
Including tiebreaker votes, how many total votes to evict have been cast so far this season? Answers, please. The correct answer is 51. Congratulations, Jordan. You're the final head of household.
Jumping ahead a few seasons, we have one that is ridiculous once more due to it being a double tiebreaker, although this one isn't as crazy because it was an informed guess. It was week 3 of Big Brother 15 and the comp came down to 5 players. The competition was a memory comp about a display that they had been shown the prior night, so the tiebreaker question asked them the total quantity of BB Cola cans that were delivered in the display. It seemed like a decently tricky question, albeit doable, but to my surprise, 4 out of the 5 players got it right, with only McCrae getting it wrong, but even he was close and he just guessed 1 over the correct answer. The second part of the tiebreaker was much more standard and much less interesting, but Helen ended up winning it, which was actually super cool, so there's that, I guess.
What was the total number of BB Cola cans delivered last night? All right, the answer is 168 cans. McCrae is out, everyone else is in. What was the total time in seconds it took Jeremy to win the In the Balance veto competition? The correct answer is 895. Congratulations, Helen. You are the new head of household.
Big Brother 17 gave us what is quite possibly the single most influential tiebreaker outcome in all of Big Brother history, and that was at the Final Four. The HOH came down to Steve and Johnny Mac, and they were asked how many seconds it had taken Vanessa to win the Final 5 HOH. Johnny Mac wrote down 3,600, Steve wrote down 601, and the correct answer was then revealed to be 2,825, crowning Steve as the winner. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? Well, Steve looked perplexed, and then he revealed that he had actually messed up. You see, Steve had actually meant to write down 6,001, but it seems that he had gotten a bit flustered in the moment and ended up forgetting a digit entirely, resulting in him writing down 601 and winning the competition. Had Steve written down the number he had originally intended, he would have been way over the answer, Johnny Mac would have won the HOH, Steve likely would have been evicted in 4th place, and at that point, there's a very real chance that Vanessa is able to beat Johnny Mac in the final HOH and win the game. Therefore, that means that this one simple mistake on this one tiebreaker question might possibly have been the difference maker on Vanessa winning Big Brother. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
In seconds, how long was the Under the Rainbow competition from the official start to when Vanessa hit her button to win HOH? Answer, please. The correct answer is 2,825 seconds, which means, congratulations, Steve, you are the new HOH.
My answer was 600. I forgot a 0.
Wait, you were gonna say 6,000?
Yeah,
I just won head of household by dumb luck. I did the math wrong. It was supposed to be 6,001. By some freak of nature, I will never be stepping foot in the jury house.
Big Brother 20 gave us a trifecta of crazy tiebreakers, and all 3 are great in their own ways. The first one came during the Week 3 HOH, where the comp came down to Scottie and Rachel. The tiebreaker question was how many seconds did the first HOH comp take, and the 2 house guests took very different approaches. Rachel was frantically doing intense math, so much so to the point where she was almost disqualified for taking too much time, whereas Scottie just made some goofy faces and wrote down a guess. When they revealed their answers, Scottie showed 1,199 and Rachel showed 12,500. And Scottie ended up taking the win since the correct answer ended up being 475. What makes this answer so funny is that when you do the conversions, you can see that Rachel guessed that the first HOH took about 3.5 hours, whereas in actuality, it took less than 8 minutes, which is hilariously incorrect.
How long was the microchip mayhem competition? I need an answer. Rachel, I need an answer now or you'll be disqualified. The correct answer is 475 seconds, which means congratulations, Scottie. You're the new head of household.
The next tiebreaker came a few weeks later in week 6, where it came down to Angela and Rockstar. This one is funny for one thing in particular. Rockstar's math. You can see Rockstar was trying to do some quick math as she began writing down the steps to do 30 times 60. However, she must have messed up somewhere because the answer that she got was 1200. For the record, 30 times 60 is 1800, and to be fair, I'm sure that the intense pressure of the situation didn't make things easy for Rockstar, but the visual of her holding up her board that strictly says 30 times 60 equals 1200 is just really funny to me, and because of it, it's one of my favorite tiebreakers, but I don't mean that in a mean-spirited way.
What was the total time of the Out on a Limb endurance competition? Ladies, finalize your answers and please present them. The correct answer is 3,722 seconds. Congratulations, Angela.
The final crazy tiebreaker of the season came all the way at the end of the season, and what makes it ridiculous is just how insanely close Kaycee's guess was. The question was, how many seconds did part 1 of the final HOH take, to which Tyler guessed 2002 and Kaycee guessed 3400. Julie then came on to reveal that the correct answer was 3,413, meaning that Kaycee's answer was just 13 off. That is legitimately insane, and given the scope of the question, it might actually be the most impressive tiebreaker answer of all time.
How long was the jetpack attack competition from the official start to when Kaycee made contact with the ground?
Gosh, I'm shaking. I can't even write.
The correct answer is 3,413 seconds, which means congratulations, Kaycee. You are the final head of household.
And now, lastly, we have the one that inspired this entire video. This is probably the single greatest tiebreaker of all time, and that is, of course, the final 9 tiebreaker from Big Brother 25. The HOH competition came down to Bowie, Jane, and Felicia, and the tiebreaker question was basically, how many minutes was Jared in the house as a BB zombie? For those that don't know the context, Jared was a zombie for almost exactly a week, so the question was pretty much just asking how many minutes were in a week. Bowie Jane, looking confused as ever, shakes her head and turns over the single greatest answer in Big Brother history. 27. Bowie Jane just put down that there were 27 minutes in a week. In the moment, it was beyond hilarious, and I could not stop myself from laughing out loud because it is just such an iconic answer. Eventually, Bowie Jane seemed to change her mind, and she threw a 6 in front of the 27, but even with the edit, that meant that Bowie's answer now said that there were 10 hours in a week. As if that wasn't enough, Felicia was doing her own math on the question, and she eventually revealed her board. Felicia's board only had a few things on it, but it was as follows. 60 times 60 equals 49,500. I honestly don't even know what to say. For the record, 60 times 60 is 3,600, so I'm assuming that Felicia must have done some additional math in her head that she didn't show in order to get to her answer of 49,500. But even still, 49,500 minutes equates to over a month. So that means that of the 2 answers we were dealing with for how many minutes were in a week, one was less than half an hour and the other was over a month. For those who care, the correct answer was just a little over 10,000, meaning that Bowie Jane took home the victory. As iconic and hilarious as this tiebreaker was, I do need to go over 2 things. The first thing is just a reminder that this is not me bashing Bowie and Felicia for their answers, and that it's all supposed to be in good fun. The second thing is that I have to be a party pooper and let you know that the morning after this, Bowie Jane confirmed that she had originally misheard the question and thought that Julie was asking how long Jared was out of the house before coming back in as a BB zombie. In that case, Bowie was actually really close to the correct answer since Jared was out of the house for like half an hour, and it wasn't until Julie repeated the question that Bowie Jane realized she got the question wrong, which is why she then feebly attempted to change her answer and made it 627. Regardless, this was still a really fun tiebreaker to watch live, and it goes down as my favorite tiebreaker of all time.
In minutes, how long was Jared a zombie from the moment he re-entered the house to the moment Cameron won Do or Die? Answer answers now, Felicia.
49,500.
The correct answer is 10,104 minutes, which means congratulations, Bowie Jane. You are the new head of household.
I think I accidentally won that. Dude, I was trying to throw that tiebreaker. I wrote down something ridiculously low and I bloody won.
And there we go. While it can be enjoyable to poke fun from time to time, it's important to remember that every tiebreaker we just watched was in a high-stakes environment with a lot on the line, and that we shouldn't be calling anyone an idiot for what they put down as a tiebreaker answer. These players are only given a few moments to solve high-level math, so it's important to cut them some slack, and it's also important to remember that this is just a silly little show, and we should instead appreciate that we got such iconic answers that we can smile about for years to come. I know that might sound weird coming from someone who just spent 20 minutes talking about how ridiculous some of these answers are, but I'm doing it in an appreciative sort of way, and I want to make it clear that this video was not made to try and embarrass any person, nor was it done in an attempt to point the finger and laugh. It's all supposed to be fun at the end of the day, and I hope this didn't come across as too mean-spirited. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I, of course, need to give that extra special shout out to all of my YouTube members and patrons who undoubtedly would crush any tiebreaker question that they might find themselves in. And, as always, here's a clip for you on your way out.
We have a tie between Taylor and Brittany. In seconds, how long was the snooze fest competition from the official start until Brittany was announced the winner? The correct answer is 1,404 seconds, which means congratulations, Taylor. You are the new head of household. And